If you're like me, and I know that you are, when you click on a YouTube video, 90% of my ads are from some Amazon guru telling me that they're laying on a beach somewhere, they're driving luxury cars all the time, and they have this passive income selling on Amazon or eBay, and it makes me want to gag every time I see it because it is simply not true. 80% of the time, what they're really trying to sell you on is their course. I'm not here to sell you anything. This video and my entire channel is free. I'm a full-time reseller. I have nothing to gain from you starting selling on eBay, but the pleasure of knowing that maybe I help someone else stay at home and work from home and live their life and enjoy it the way that I know that I'm enjoying mine. Because I'd rather work 80 hours a week for myself than 40 hours a week for someone else. And if you refuse to clock into your own dreams, you will be forced to clock into someone else's. I'm gonna keep selling on eBay whether you start selling on eBay or not. I just know that there is freedom in doing this, and I wish more people knew that reselling even was a thing. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how to make $1 million on eBay if you're willing to listen. But first, let's talk about some things that I'm shipping out today that just sold on my eBay. Alrighty. First up is this vintage bathroom tile. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know how I came by these. We remodeled our bathroom and I asked Drew to save the tiles. Guys, he painstakingly pulled like 1,000 of these things off, and I've been selling them really, really well. I sell one for $5 plus $5 shipping, and a buyer just bought that times 4. So they paid $20 for the tiles and $20 for the shipping. They're all in at $40 for 4 of these bathroom tiles. I found an entire Department 56 Christmas Village and little accessories at the auction, probably around 15 pieces total. I paid $50 for everything. To be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that I didn't pay more because the ones I picked up weren't really worth more than like $30 to $50 a piece. This one is a pretty small little accessory piece. It's a train. There were plenty of these listed, and I listed mine for $29.95, which was right at that average price. I didn't undercut anyone, and I added shipping, and a lot of them did not have shipping added. A $5 shipping on top of that. This thing sold overnight. It's been sitting in my living room for at least 2 months. As it turns out, the only way to sell it is to list it. List your stuff. It has been a while ago now since I came across these brand new, not only in package, but in security seal cassette tapes at a local thrift store. It looked like an entire music store had like given all their inventory. Any of it that was wrap I picked up. I paid 25 cents for this. I have no idea who Big Pun is. I know that some of my friends here are going to, y'all just go ahead and comment and tell me I cannot believe you don't know Big Pun, but I don't. It did not hinder me from selling it for $30 plus $5.30 shipping. For a quarter pickup, I'd say that's pretty good. That being said, not all cassettes are good pickups. I remember when I first started reselling, I was like, oh, cassettes, you can get them so cheap and these things will sell. And that's true. Most of them will sell eventually. But if you can get sealed cassettes, guys, I sold one sealed cassette for almost $400 for one cassette tape. I also picked that one up for a quarter. If you can get 80s and 90s rap music, I think it's either heavy metal or hair bands that also has like a huge cult following. Absolutely though, any vintage hip hop, especially if it's sealed, pick it up. It will sell. But the things that are opened or like 90s country, like if you go pick up Garth Brooks at the thrift store and it doesn't sell, do not come at me saying Rachel Strickland told me to pick up cassette tapes. I found this set of Christmas glasses still in the original package, so I was like, that should help me ship them somewhat. They definitely still need to be protected, but I'm thankful these are going to a town like less than an hour from me. What are the odds? And do you remember having these Christmas glasses? I feel like my grandma had this exact set. I paid $3 for this set and just sold them for $20 plus $12 shipping, so the buyer's all in $32. That is honestly about where I like to be on pickups. Everyone always says you make your money in the buy on reselling, and that's true. If you can't buy an item for a low enough price, you're not gonna be able to make a profit because you can't just invent a price. It's only worth what buyers are willing to pay. I tried to look at the buyer's all-in price, that is the purchase price plus the shipping and taxes and so on and so forth, and I aim to be at least 10 times my money on that. Now consider the fact that obviously you're not taking home 10 times your money. eBay is going to deduct fees. You are going to have to take the shipping out of that, but as a general rule, I need to at least be able to sell that item for about 10 times my money. If you're selling on platforms like Whatnot, it's never been more important to make your money on the buy. I see a lot of people starting Whatnot and walking away from it thinking it's failing them relatively quickly quickly, and it's truly just that you're not acquiring the inventory cheap enough. To be able to sell on Whatnot, you need to be able to get your inventory in bulk or at a bin store, be it the Amazon liquidation return bins or the Goodwill bins. You have to be able to start items. This is my opinion, as I would consider myself a successful Whatnot reseller. You need to be able to start items over there for $3 and still be turning a profit, and be okay if they sell for only $3. That being said, you cannot pay $5 and $6 for a shirt at the thrift store and then take it to Whatnot and expect it to sell for $20. Eventually that may happen. There are some rock star Whatnot sellers who have worked for and acquired a phenomenal following over on Whatnot, and they are selling t-shirts for hundreds of dollars. But when you're first starting out, definitely acquire that product really low. My son sold this Xbox game for $9.99 plus shipping. He does list all of his games as untested. A lot of times people will ask that, what do you do when an item like a record or a CD or a DVD, a video game, do you test every single one of them? Keep in mind, although you're self-employed and you're not clocking in, you're still getting paid by the hour. Who would want to work for hours testing, what am I supposed to test every level of this game? Or I guess you could test it and make sure it powers on, times 100 games you may have in your store. I'm not a video game tester. I'm a reseller who sells video games. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not in the market of testing these. This one is listed as untested, but in the off chance I sold a game and I didn't list it as untested and it got there and it didn't work, I'm gonna lose whatever the value of that game is, which technically was never my money in the first place because the game did not work. So I'm gonna lose the shipping price, $3, something like that. Is my time worth more than the $3? The time it would take me to pull out a video game system and sit and test every one of these games? Absolutely it is. I don't test much of my media. I realize that's kind of a controversial stance, but I'm just being honest with you guys. And I've talked with a lot of resellers lately who say the same thing. They don't play every record. They don't watch every VHS. There's just not enough hours in the day. With that amount of time, I could definitely be listing more things on eBay. This next item is this amazing vintage Letterman sweater. This is for our local high school and I found it at the thrift store and I was like, why? This is not my alma mater, or I probably would have scooped it up, but I just can't believe that the folks in this town let this be sold for a couple bucks in the thrift store. I had a lot of watchers on it and I think it was listed at like $75.99. I put out offers to watchers, which is definitely something you should be doing if you have an eBay store, and it sold for $50 plus shipping. Another interesting thing about this sale, it's actually headed overseas through eBay's global shipping program. And I don't think that they call it global shipping program or GSP any longer, but there is absolutely no reason I see that you wouldn't want to enroll in a program like that. Especially with the changes that eBay has made, it's never been easier to sell your products overseas. I will not be shipping this sweater to the United Kingdom where the buyer is located. Rather, I will be shipping it to Glendale Heights, Illinois. It's that easy. Unless you don't ship to Illinois or wherever the hub is located near you, there's no reason for you not to be using eBay's global shipping. And anymore, I think you have to specifically opt out of it. So chances are your store is probably enabled for global shipping. This one is a pretty good example of something that a lot of people might see as worthless. My husband found this box fan, and anytime you find these metal box fans, be them, this is like a smaller one, the really big ones can go for over $100, $150. He sold this one. It's got that really vintage wood grain look to it. He sold this for $69 plus $15 shipping. Is this something that you would walk right by at the thrift store? Because I know a lot of people would. How did you know to pick up that fan, honey? How did you know it was worth something?
It's old and it's a fan, so just figured it had to be worth something. And I ran comps, so it seemed like vintage fans were going for quite a bit of money. But I didn't know, I didn't think that one would be worth almost $70.
Are you gonna buy me something nice?
I always buy you something nice. Look at all around that you have. Look at me.
He's humble too. This one is kind of an odd sale in my opinion. It's the Happy Planner, which is a great planner, and this is the Teacher's Edition, which is a great planner. But the thing is that these are dated for the school year, and guys, it's the end of the school year. We're at our last week of school. This planner goes out July 2023, and it says that in the listing, and there's a picture of this in the listing, and someone just paid $17 plus shipping for this planner. I've been cleaning up down here in the basement, and I have this Mama-Roo swing that I already sold the base to it on eBay. I was honestly gonna donate all these spare parts. Look at this. This clipped onto the swing, and it held these three like stuffed animal balls, right? And it's kind of like a mobile for the kid. I looked up the 4Moms Mamaroo, and the replacement parts were going as fast as people could list them. I sold this one plastic piece. There's absolutely nothing mechanical here, and this is first classable. $30, you guys. I was gonna go back in and add shipping because I saw, oh wait, some people actually were charging $30 plus shipping and getting it. Before I could even go back and add shipping, this sold, and this one sold overseas as well. So definitely be sure that your store is eligible and set up for eBay's international sales. I sold a vintage nightgown for $48. I know, it doesn't really look like a nightgown. It almost looks like a dress, and that's why I almost didn't find it, because I was searching where my dresses are. I could not find this thing. Here's the brand, Artemis, Gozard. That's probably not how you say that. Gozard, Artemis nightgown. I had it listed for $68. Again, I use that make offers to watchers, and I offered it for 48 bucks because it's been listed for a while and somebody snatched this thing up. Let me show you what the tag looks like there. You see that Made in USA? That is more the reason why I picked this up than the brand name. Any type of Made in USA, especially if it's nylon, women's sleepwear, oh my gosh, like pick it up every time. Almost 50 bucks for your grandma's used nightgown. Here's another item that I picked up while I was cleaning out the basement, and I was like, how have I never listed this? As it turns out, if you list it, it will sell. I didn't know exactly what type of radio this was when I found it at the thrift store, but as is $5, I was definitely willing to take a risk on it. This thing just sold overnight, guys, for $89 plus shipping, but I definitely don't want to send it out with that Sharpie on the bottom, so I'm going to show you what I do to get Sharpie off in a situation like that. I'm going to first try what I consider kind of the gold standard in Sharpie removal, and that's just an essential oil. This is not some expensive topical essential oil. It's Better Homes and Gardens. You can get it at Walmart for probably $5 or $6. Fragrance absolutely does not matter. This is just an aromatherapy oil. Let's apply just a couple drops here. Be careful not to get that anywhere where it's gonna like seep down into the electronics. It looks like this is gonna be a little bit stubborn. I'm gonna scrub this for just a second. Okay, scrubbing it for no longer than I'd like to, it just kind of faded it. I have two other methods that I wanna show you. The next thing I'm gonna try is hand sanitizer. The idea here is that it's the alcohol that is gonna get the Sharpie off. Let's see if this works. You can see that definitely worked better than my essential oil did on this metal, but it still didn't get everything off. The last one I'm gonna try is a tip I actually got from my friend Courtney, Bolo Buddies. If you guys aren't subscribed to Courtney, please check out her channel. I'm linking it in the description down below. You will not be disappointed. I have learned so many reseller tips and so many important bolos that I've made a lot of money just from watching her free channel here on YouTube. So please check her out. We're gonna be trying this dry erase marker. I know it sounds counterproductive to mark on top of it, but just go with me on this. This probably would have been easier to remove had I removed it as soon as I got back from the thrift store and not like several months later when I actually decided to list it. And in my listing, I just didn't take a picture of the side. Don't do as I do. Are you kidding? Guys, the dry erase marker for the win. I'm gonna go over the 2 failed attempts with dry erase marker also and get any of the little stragglers as well. Check that out, and might I add, it smells fresh as a daisy because there's lemon, rosemary, and lavender on there now. I think it's worth mentioning that 6 of the 10 items that I have going out today sold via promoted listings. Did I have to promote these listings? Some of them, perhaps I did not, because I do sell pretty unique one-off items, but it's been my experience that the bulk of my sales always comes from promoted listings. This video is not explaining promoted listings, rather just this little part to tell you it's something you should be doing, even if it's just at 1-2%. I am definitely not suggesting that you promote at eBay's suggested rate, but promoting your listing could get it in front of the right buyer who's actually going to buy it. The shipping is done, the labels are printed. All I have to do now is drop everything off at the post office. Finally, the part of the video where I'm gonna tell you how to make $1 million on eBay. The average purchase price over on eBay is about $30. With that being said, average profit should be around $20, right? So how do you make $1 million on eBay? You sell 50,000 things. You source, you list, you make offers, you clean, you sell, you carefully package, print the labels, you drop off 50,000 packages. Anyone trying to sell you you a shortcut is trying to sell you something. There is freedom in reselling. There is freedom in being able to take off whenever I want to or need to. But is eBay passive income? Do I make money in my sleep? Well, yeah, I guess if things sell while I'm sleeping, but that money was made when I bought the item, when I cleaned the item, when I listed the item. Any money that I make while I'm on vacation was earned long before I went on vacation. eBay is not a passive source of income, but is it a lucrative source of income? I quit my job as a full-time realtor to do this. I have seen people walk away from their professional careers and choose reselling once they're exposed to how much money there actually is to be made reselling. If I'm selling items on average for 10 times my money, and sometimes it's more like 100 times my money. I mean, look at that cassette tape. I paid $1/4 for it and sold it for $30. But let's just say the average I make is 10 times my money. If I offered to trade you your $1 bill for my $10 bill, would you do it? If I asked you to invest $10 and get back 100, of course you'd do it. Just imagine 100 into 1,000 or $1,000 into $10,000. It's not hard to see that reselling can easily snowball into something monumental. And last year, that's exactly what it did. I set out to list every unlisted piece of inventory I had in my house because I wanted to pay cash for a used car. That's not what happened. Through a ton of hard work, and I'm talking listing 50 items a day until 2 o'clock in the morning for like 6 weeks, my husband and I were able to pay cash for our brand new Bronco. I don't have a payment on my car. I was never able to afford things like that when I worked as a realtor. I know plenty of people making 6 figures that can't afford things like that, but reselling, there's no cap on your income. You're not hired in at a level and then you have to beg someone for a raise. The output is equal to your input. If I don't list on eBay, this is what I'm gonna make. But if I'm consistently listing, if I'm busting my butt to find good inventory, I'm checking comps, I'm checking that sell-through rate, which is so important. I promise the only ceiling on the level of income you can make reselling is the one you give yourself. I promise you that. I challenge you to prove that theory wrong. And if your stuff isn't selling, you might need to be brutally honest with yourself. Do you have good inventory? Do you have inventory that someone's willing to pay shipping on? Is it something that they couldn't just walk into Walmart and buy off the shelf in their town today? For me, that's luxury designer items and vintage items. I think those are two categories that people are willing to pay for because they're not making the vintage anymore, and the luxury has a value all on its own. So if you're looking for a YouTube guru who's going to tell you how to make passive income on eBay while you're chilling on the beach, I'm sorry that you watched this far. But if you're looking for a channel that's going to cut the bull and tell you exactly how I do this for a living full time, share with you my mistakes as well as my major wins, then hit that subscribe, like this video if you like this video, share it with a friend that you think needs to get out of the rat race of clocking in for someone else, and that person that you know could do this on their own. Because I understand entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but for the few that it is for, it is so highly rewarding. As a reminder, as soon as this channel hits 20,000 subscribers and we're on our way, I'm giving away a Louis Vuitton wallet. So basically, if you watch this far, you like the video, there's no reason you shouldn't subscribe, but now there's a little extra incentive, a Louis Vuitton wallet. Thanks so much, guys, for watching this. God bless you, and remember, treat your business like your business.